Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, ready to break down some breaking news that the Las Vegas Raiders have. The Silver and Black have signed wide receiver Albert Wilson. I spoke about Wilson earlier in the week when the Raiders brought him in on a visit. They also brought in another wide receiver named Trinity Benson, I believe off the top of my mind. But this was somebody who I was like, I wonder if the Raiders do end up using him because of all the injury concerns around Hunter Renfrow. Now, Renfrow practiced in full yesterday, so I'm going to guess that he's going to be ready to play up against the Kansas City Chiefs. What you're going to see on today's video is the impact that I believe Wilson could potentially have on the Raiders roster. What does it mean for other receivers on this team, and how can he even potentially help out our special teams, which is actually the area that I believe he is going to help out this team the most. Now, every time we do a video like this, I want to know down in the comment section, what is your one-word reaction to the news of signing Albert Wilson? I'll go through a lot of his numbers. We'll go through a lot of the things here. But give me your one-word reaction to signing Wilson. My one-word reaction is insurance. And the reason why I'm going to say insurance is because I think the signing of Wilson is Hunter Renfrow insurance. Remember, when the Raiders extended Renfrow, one of the big conversations that a lot of Raider fans had was, okay, is Renfrow still going to be the guy that returns punts? After that major concussion scare where he missed 2 weeks, personally, between you and me, I don't want Renfrow returning punts. Now, there's always going to be certain situations in a game where, let's say, Raiders are up by 2 points, 1 point, 3 point, and you know that the team's going to try to pin you back and you just want a sure-handed guy, not somebody who's going to try to return it, but essentially just do a fair catch. That's okay. Then you could put Hunter Renfrow out there in that situation. But in the NFL today, man, I want Renfrow to be healthy. And I get it. Injuries can happen at any point. And over the last week, you've seen the NFL, due to the Tua Tagovailoa concussion injury, which was horrific, they're going to take, I think, this level of concussions a lot more seriously, which they absolutely should. So with that being said, Wilson has some special teams ability. Wilson has the ability to return punts. Now, I still think that you could see somebody like Keelan Cole, who continues to be somebody who they rely on in a punt return fashion. But what happens if something goes down with Keelan Cole? Now you also have a player like Albert Wilson who has got some legit speed. When he first came out in terms of the NFL draft, remember, y'all, he started his career with the Chiefs, which I always think is kind of funny with the team. Now we're getting ready to go up against Kansas City. He spent 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 in Kansas City. But he ran a 4.42 40-yard dash. I don't think he runs a 4.42 anymore. He still has some good bursts, though. And if you're looking for a little bit of Hunter Renfrow insurance, to me, then that's more than okay to spend that type of money to do it. Now, it hasn't been confirmed yet whether or not he is signing on the 53 or on the practice squad. If he signs with the 53, then obviously you got to move on from somebody. But as it stands right now, according to Adam Schefter, Raiders are signing veteran wide receiver Albert Wilson. Per sources, Wilson's signing was confirmed by his agent, Drew Rosenhaus. We've heard of that name before, right? Now, one of the reasons why you should hit that subscribe button right now is because even though I literally just came back from a run, like I am sweaty and gross, I was literally running, I got the update and I was like, shit, I got to get back to the crib and I got to make a video. And Chuck's kind of looking at me over here. He's like, bro, you told me we were going for a walk. So I got to go take Chuck for a walk. But the reason why you should hit that subscribe button is even though we were partying last night on Thursday Night Football, thank you to everyone who tuned in and watched, gave Alex an amazing, happy birthday. We had a good time. But man, even though today's my off day, I'm still getting you guys a video. So if you love the Raiders, you want to stay up to date, hit that subscribe button. Now let's talk about some of these numbers that Albert Wilson has been able to put up throughout the course of his entire career. He's got 218 receptions, 2,499 yards. He's got 12 touchdowns and a career long of 75, average yards per catch at 11.5. Now, as his career has progressed, okay, the way that he's been used is predominantly more of a screen pass wide receiver, short intermediate routes. Even though he has legit speed, they've been using him in these short stints. Now, I can also sit up here and say, Well, his quarterback in 2021 was Tua Tagovailoa. His quarterback in 2019 was Tua Tagovailoa. So how much of it is actually on him? Because in 2018, he actually averaged 15 yards per catch. Then Tua comes into the situation, 8.2, 8.5. Last season, in 2021 with the Dolphins, 25 catches, 213 yards, no touchdowns. He sat out 2020 due to COVID. He was kind of where, he decided to opt out, which I actually do think actually ended up hurting him because in 2019 with Miami, he was actually one of their more reliable receivers. Now, they went back and forth with Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tua Tagovailoa, but 43 grabs, 351 yards, 1 touchdown. The year before that, in 2018, he had 4 touchdowns. He had 26 catches, 391 yards. So this is what you're going to get out of Wilson, which I kind of like. One of the things that I used to always wish that the Raiders do, hell, I still wish the Raiders would do this a little bit more, is just get a player who is just athletic. Albert Wilson is just athletic. You watch him move on the field, he just moves a little bit differently. So if you want to use him on offense where you can do some of these pre-snap reads, moving him side to side, even if the ball's not going to go to him, the defense sometimes has to be able to respect that. In terms of how is this going to impact the team going forward, you're going to see a situation here where, it gets interesting. And now we're also just getting word that the Raiders are planning to sign linebacker Blake Martinez to the active roster. So not only do you have Albert Wilson, you have Blake Martinez, who also is being signed to the active roster. With that move, that means somebody is going to get the boot. I don't know who it's going to be. We'll try to figure that out as this show goes on, but that now has just been confirmed also. We're going to stick here with the Albert Wilson conversation because now your top receivers are Davante Adams. You still got Hunter Renfrow. Mack, Hollins are your top 3 dogs. Nobody's really going to dispute that. However, they have not used Tyron Johnson. Keelan Cole's been getting some run here and there. But Albert Wilson, playing in the AFC East, has obviously gone up against the New England Patriots for a large majority of his career. I believe what you're seeing again here is some familiarity. A coach who probably knows some way or another what exactly Albert Wilson's going to be able to bring to the table. Also remember that Brian Flores, he was the head coach down in Miami, who had a lot of connections with McDaniels, had a lot of connections with Dave Ziegler, had a lot of connections with a lot of these Patriots coaches that we have. So that could also be a reason why Wilson was brought in. I don't know, again, if he's going to be getting the call up for this weekend's game. What I do think, though, is going to end up happening is no matter what, he gets that extra week 6, for the bye to really kind of ramp up his learning process, really learn what you see from top to bottom here for Wilson in terms of going forward. I don't think it's a good sign for DJ Turner. I don't think it's a good sign for somebody like Tyron Johnson. We'll see what happens with Keelan Cole, because I still think Cole could do a lot more for your offense than what he's been given. But if you want to use a decoy, Albert Wilson could be one hell of a decoy. Now what we're going to do, y'all, is flip the script here. I'm going to hop on over to the Blake Martinez discussion. The Raiders signed him earlier in the week, and Martinez has been a player that, I've talked about in great lengths because of his connections with Patrick Graham. He was with the Green Bay Packers when Graham was a linebacker coach there, and then he was with them for the New York Giants. You go back, you look at some of the best numbers Martinez had. He was actually a halfway decent coverage linebacker. The Raiders right now are dealing with Denzel Perryman, who was limited in practice with that concussion on Thursday. And then Jayon Brown, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. He was limited. I don't have, obviously, the injury report. It's not out quite yet on Friday. It's going to come out probably another few hours from now, so just keep that in mind, if you will. But the fact that they're bringing him up, it just shows confidence that they believe that this guy can help you out right away, and I agree with that. I don't want to see Travis Kelce running seam routes up the middle. I don't want to see any of that type of action. So with the signing of Blake Martinez to the active roster, we'll see how that ends up implementing or impacting the team going forward. Now, I'll be real with y'all. As soon as I end this video, I have to go to a dog park, and I'm going to go to some place with Chuck where I've actually already recorded the video before. So if anything else crazy happens, I'll do my best here to keep you guys up to date. What's probably going to end up happening is I'm just going to update the pinned comment. I'll comment some of the other news that ends up going down here around the silver and black. But the two major stories from this video, first one, Raiders have signed Albert Wilson per Adam Schefter. That one has not been confirmed whether or not he's on the practice squad yet. or if he's on the active roster. I'm going to guess he's on the practice squad because what happened was Albert Wilson signed, and then they activated Blake Martinez, which then frees up a practice squad spot, which then means the Raiders are going to have to move on from a player on their active roster as it stands right now. That's the latest news and rumors. If anything else happens, remember, y'all, I'll try to keep you guys up to date. Instagram, Twitter, hit me up at MitchellRens365, but I got that commitment to excellence. Hopefully y'all see that. If you made it this far in the video, I want you to spam RO4L down in the comments because you, my friends, are real ones for life. All right, y'all, if you made it this far in the video and you want extra Raiders content, hit that subscribe button right here. If you want even more videos, there's going to be a nice little playlist over here. You can click that bad boy to get more Raiders videos. And then, if you want even more Raiders content, you know, I got over, 2,000, 3,000 videos on this channel. I don't remember at this point. Click that playlist right there. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and FKC.